There's the Stones and Shattered, the song at 8:19 on the KFOG Morning Show, where we are joined in studio by Huey Lewis. Yay! It's great to see you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Congratulations. Let's start off by saying...
You look great on radio.
Thank you. I was born for radio. It's true. Huey Lewis in the news with the new album, Soulsville. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, we're proud of it.
It's a collection of what I guess would be seminal formative music of your youth. Is that right? Am I characterizing that correctly?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we grew up right here in the Bay Area, but with a sort of psychedelic backdrop. Our constant radio station was KDIA, which we later learned was sister station to WDIA in Memphis. So many of our favorite songs were soul songs. It was our way of rebelling against the psychedelic revolution. And it's really the tie that binds my band, both Johnny and Billy and Sean. We were all in other bands in the Bay Area, but always loved the soul stuff. And
the band is still tight together. In fact, we saw you recently on TV during the National League Championship Series. You were singing some of the national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam.
I say some of the national anthem because you guys are singing multiple harmonies there. It sounds so good when you guys do that. That harkens back to your formative days of music as well, I'm thinking, right?
Yeah. What do you mean?
The doo-wop, the acapella stuff?
Well, actually, the acapella started when, before a gig, we would warm our voices up, and we'd sing our own songs, and we got sick of singing our own songs. So we just kind of started improvising on Sam Cooke stuff and, like that. And then, Curtis Mayfield things. And then we put one in the show finally. And went down real good, so we've done it ever since.
That doo-wop-y version of the Star Spangled Banner is interesting. What kind of reactions did you get from people from that? Because it really stands out, because I've never heard the national anthem done that way before.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's actually part Navy band, part doo-wop. So it's a tough song. Frankly, you've heard everybody say that, and it's true. I mean, it's actually the melody probably is "Oh, say can you see by the dawn's." It was an English drinking hall song that Francis Scott Key lifted for the anthem, I think, and so it's not the most melodic of tunes, and it's very rangy. So but you do want to be respectful to the anthem, so you want it to sound like it, and so that's what we decided to do. Take it sort of partly doo-wop, but keep it more or less traditional.
Well, I remember you singing the national anthem with the band in the early '80s at an A's game, so I'm sure you've probably lost count how many times you've performed it, and yet performing it before a World Series game featuring your hometown team. Did you have some butterflies out there on the field?
Oh, you always do. I mean, first of all, it's very hard because there's a slap back in the stadium, and we're doing it a cappella, so it's there's nothing to tune to except each other. And so it's a nerve-wracking gig. But, I mean, the good news is it only lasts 2 minutes, and the seats are great.
Right. You're famously a huge sports fan, and obviously you grew up in the Bay Area. How do you think the Giants' World Series victory compares with the Niners' Super Bowl victories back in the day?
Right there. I thought it felt very similar. I had very similar sort of feelings. The whole community involved and how it dragged the whole community into there. Doing the anthem was fantastic, and we saw many of the same people.
Did you by chance come in the city and enjoy the parade, the Giants?
Did not. We were working.
Shame on you.
But no, you can take some of the credit for their World Series win because you sung the national anthem. So there you go.
Let's do that.
Let's talk about your new album, Soulsville, a little bit more. You're covering Stax classics, some well-known, some not so well-known, actually.
Right.
How did you assemble the list of what you covered?
Good question. We all sort of the idea was rather than do the sort of obvious things, Knock on Wood and Midnight Hour and so on, Dock of the Bay, what have you, and lend them, I suppose, a modern interpretation or original interpretation. We thought to go back a little deeper in the catalog, as it were, find songs that most people maybe hadn't heard, and capture them faithfully in much the same way as they were recorded. So to that end, but we did want people to connect with some of the stuff. So there's a few songs that people will recognize, I think.
One of the songs that I didn't know was Soulsville, the title track, and I would recommend people to listen to that. But will you forgive me if I go for the obvious here, because you guys do a version of "Respect Yourself"?
Sure. Can I plug Dorothy?
Absolutely. I was about to ask you. Yeah.
Yeah. Dorothy Morrison sings this with. It's really kind of a vehicle for Dorothy. You know, she lives in Oakland. She's the gal who wrote and sang "Oh Happy Day" for Edwin Hawkins.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And she's fantastic. It was really fun doing it.
It's a great piece of music. If you'd like to talk to Huey Lewis, give us a call right now while we're listening to some of the new music from Huey Lewis and the News, their take on Respect Yourself on the KFOG Morning Show. Respect Yourself is on Soulsville from Huey Lewis and the News. Dorothy Morrison, right?
Dorothy Morrison.
Did I remember that?
Yep.
Very nicely done by her, as well as you guys. Huey Lewis is our guest on the KFOG Morning Show. Foghead question. What did you want to ask?
I actually caught Huey when he was with the American Express, and I was wondering, is there ever going to be a way for us to get some of that on disc or digitally or anything?
And the American Express predates
Wow.
Huey Lewis and the News,
Yeah,
right?
this you're the one. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even remember the kind of stuff we did, but so the answer is probably no.
So there was the American Express and then Clover and then Huey Lewis and the News?
No. That was Clover and then Huey Lewis and American Express.
Okay.
Or American Express. And then, oddly enough, we were called Huey Lewis and American Express up until when we signed our record contract that way.
Mm-hmm.
And literally on the eve of the release of our first record, they had decided that they were afraid we'd be sued by American Express.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had 24 hours to come up with a new title, a new name. Ironic because in those days, which is only 80 or 79, there was absolutely no corporate involvement with rock and roll. Zero. Nobody had ever, done an ad or had any sponsorship or sponsored a tour that had never been done before, and it was anathema to everybody. But I thought it was a cool name because I thought it was what we sounded like.
Right.
But they were afraid we'd be sued, so we changed it to the News.
Which version of the band played with Elvis Costello on the first Elvis Costello album?
That's Clover. The band was in Clover, and
Okay.
it's a rhythm section, which is in those days was John Chambodi on bass, Sean Hopper, who's in the News, on keyboards. John McPhee played guitar, and Mickey Shine played drums.
I want to know this last-minute decision. We're going to be the News. Who came up with the News?
Oh, I think I did. I'm not all that proud of it. It served us well, though. We're
What
happy.
about Huey Lewis and the Revolution? Or
And war. Actually, what I should have called ourselves is the organization.
Oh.
And that way, by now, we could have a younger, better singer in there, and I'd just be sitting home taking a check.
Last time you were here, you were on Broadway with Chicago. Any
Right.
plans to do that kind of stuff again?
I do it occasionally. They ask me occasionally, and it's really fun to do. I've done it twice for 3 months each time on Broadway, and it's wonderfully, challenging and fun.
We happily have a harmonica sitting in front of you there. And,
And this is, I understand Popper left this.
Yeah, John Popper.
It's an F sharp harmonica.
what does that mean?
Well, it's very hard to play. Cross harp you play in the key of C sharp, which nobody plays in, or you play F sharp. I mean, nobody uses this much.
That's probably why.
And
it gives them away for
it's
free.
literally the highest harmonica made. F sharp is when you go to G, it goes back down an octave.
Okay.
So this is the high. And
And
thanks
yet,
to Popper.
and yet you're comfortable giving us a shot.
F sharp.
It seems to suit you, sir. That was quite
He
good.
flings it onto the counter.
F sharp.
Huey Lewis and the News. The new album is called Soulville. Now, you're going to be out a little bit later today, from what I understand, in Santa Rosa at
Very
noon
good.
at the
Yep.
Best Buy there.
Yep.
And then a little bit later on today at 6:30 at the Borders in San Rafael.
That's right.
You're going to be there signing autographs, signing the album, the CD, and checking in with people.
So, and the record, by the way, makes an excellent Christmas present.
Look at that.
Excellent. Get your Christmas present just out.
Never too soon to start thinking about that. A great pleasure meeting you. Great.